Luke chapter 2, verse 49 is a story about Jesus Christ, where his parents were looking for him. And when they found him, he asked, "Why you seek me? Didn't you know I will be around doing my father's business?" Life is business and business is life. As such, every investment one makes is expected to yield a good return. Think investment because you are not going to be young forever. My name is Aigbe John, and this is Celebration TV Business Talk Show. Today on our episode, we'll be talking on real estate investment. Of course, I have with me a very distinguished guest who together will be discussing the nitty-gritty of real estate investment. But he is going to join us immediately after this short break. Welcome back from that break. And in case you are just joining us, it's Business Talk Show on Celebration TV. And like I said, today we'll be talking on real estate investment. It's going to be interesting, I promise you. Yeah, we have a very distinguished guest today who together will be discussing the nitty-gritty of real estate investment. He is Mr. JC Ogome, and he is an real estate consultant. Mr. JC, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Can you just quickly tell us about yourself
Okay.
as a real estate consultant?
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My name is Jesse Ogumbe, and I work with Pazino Construction Company, Nigerian Construction Company, Nigeria, located in Lagos State. I'm a consultant there, real estate consultant, and I help people make right choices in real estate investment.
Now, a lot of people are always saying they're into real estate investment.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what this real estate investment is really about?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, real estate investment is not really far-fetched. First of all, it's like an investment. It's investment as we know. Investment is actually placing your money into something that profits you over time. So real estate investment is actually purchase, ownership, leasing, or perhaps selling of properties, buildings, lands. And when people say most times I hear people say I'm into real estate investment. Most times what they do is just go perhaps buy a land and leave it to fall over time. That is part of real estate investment. That is called land flipping, or we call it land banking. And apart from that, real estate also involves not only just purchasing lands, properties too. Yes, and developing them, if you may, and then perhaps selling them or perhaps leasing them and getting your returns over time. That's basically real estate investment.
All right. Now, these properties, does it also include machineries or just land, properties, building?
It just includes land, because the definition of real estate is a land, a building, a property, and even the right. Backed by the government. Some other definition says real estate is actually the land, what is above it, what is beneath it. So basically, that's real estate. Real estate deals with properties, whether they're commercial, rental, or residential. So real estate basically deals with that.
Quite detailed, Now, what do I need to know before going into such business?
Thank you very much. I like that question, because most times people rush into investment and they rush out of it with bad results. So I advise clients, whenever you want to make an investment, know everything about it. Get all knowledge available for that stuff. Now, the first thing you need to know about real estate investment, and when you're trying to invest, is the location for that property or land, because it matters a lot. The location of properties or lands or whatever you want to invest in. Now, location matters so much, and also, apart from location mattering so much, whatever they call the certification, the documentation. Yes. Now, if you perhaps if you get maybe say a very nice property in a very good location that has prospect of development, and you don't get a good certification, you might lose your property because people can lay claim to that property. Yes, it happens several cases like that. That is why most times it's preferable you go through a broker or an agency because they acquire those certifications documents, and so when you just buy, they just give it to you.
Okay, permit me to deviate a little.
Okay.
We'll come back to you. You made mention of broker or an agency. Can you tell us about?
Okay, basically, a broker or agency is someone that is licensed to actually sell properties for you, sell properties, land, and anything, whether commercial, residential, because that's a broker. So is the go-between.
Call them real estate broker or just brokers?
We call real estate brokers, basically. Okay. We have different type of brokers, and these ones are real estate brokers. And brokers, we have also mutual fund brokers. We have different brokers in different sectors. Now, real estate brokers actually are licensed by the government. Like the company I work with, as you know, engineering and construction company, Lagos. It's an agency, also a broker that has lands already, properties already that you can buy from. And the good thing about brokers is that you know that you're free from any issues of land rivalry or let me say context or whatever, because they have proper certifications by the government. And most times people buy land, especially in Lagos, where my company is, and they have issues of Omonile. I don't know if you're Omoniles, people those guys area boys and the rest. So that is the one thing that real estate agency solves for you. Okay. Avoidance of all those issues with the Omoniles and the rest. Yeah.
Okay, now back to your question. Yeah. We asked. I said, what should I know or what do I need to know? You made mention of location and certifications, basically. Okay, what else do I?
Then also the risk involved in it. Now, real estate as going to experts, zero risks in a way, but there's risk involved though. But they say zero because of how profitable it is and how the values of properties increase over time. Unlike several investments like mutual funds, most times it depends on the market capitalization, and if the market is not going up, then that means your investment into this kind of like may drop. But real estate is something that increases over time. It doesn't matter where it is. But most times we have locations that have more prospect than others. I'll give an example of I think there was a client of mine that bought. Let me say no, is a consultant at my company too. It's a very top consultant, and he told of a story of how his dad, way back in the 2000s and let me say once or there, but where I think the lands in Aja started developing. Lagos State. Okay. Started developing. His dad was actually an engineer that supplied lands, sands to fill the areas and the rest. And they wanted to pay him in lands, but he said no. He said they wanted it with cash. So the last time, his son now that is now a consultant, he visited his son, and his son told him that look at the lands. It was like, this is Aja. They were passing through and they said, this is Aja. Aja is a big development. Wow, what happened here? How much were land there? Told him over 30 million. What? Are you serious? So the lands then that he avoided. Now, even he had so many lands in other places, but those lands were not up. Let me say the combination of all the price of every asset he had in other places went up to what the price of one land there. So you see, over time, real estate increases. That bottom line increases over time, and it's something that I believe that if people become aware of this thing, if you know the right locations, like right now in Bejuleki, places like Bejuleki right now, in Lagos State, Ekpe, Bejuleki, those are places that the government have concentrated too much effort to. They're trying to develop. Now we have a Dangote refinery in Bejuleki as I speak, years, and I can tell you that if that Dangote refinery opens, you should expect so many investors around. And if investors are coming, they are building, that place is going to be very developed. It's just like Banana Island right now. So the prospect for development is social.
Okay, quite interesting. Yeah. How long have you been a consultant, or how long have you been into real estate?
Let me see why I went to real estate was my dad. When I was a kid, he always took me to lands that he had in our villages. He was the kind of person that he doesn't know how to keep money. What he does is just whenever he has too much, he buys land. He just gets lands. Even though he gets so many lands, he even told me of lands that I got like 1,000 naira way back. And right now, we will not sell that land for like 5 million. No,
Wow.
we will not sell that land for 5 million. So, seeing him act those ways, I was inspired. Like, daddy, this. So it was like, some conversation just came to him, and so I started loving real estate ever since. And a couple of years, I met with a friend of mine that introduced me to this consulting and real estate consulting. So I joined the company then, and when I started working, progress, going for meetings and talking with clients and making sales, I started saying that real estate is something that, boy oh boy, if you invest in it, there's maximum return. So much. A couple of years now, I've been doing real estate.
Okay. Now, I want to ask this question.
Mm.
Has there been a time you've acquired a property or
Okay.
you acquire a property, let's say, for example, 1 million naira, and with the hope of probably selling and making profit. But it turns out that at the long run, that property value now
goes down.
Have there been any situation? Because you said real estate
keeps increasing
so,
over time. I have never seen. Even funny enough, apart from places like Lagos, even villages, let me say remote areas, you get land for like maybe 500k per plot to thereabout. Give it over 1 year and go and ask for the same price. You see that it has increased. Even remote areas. I'm talking about remote areas now.
So there's no room for
decrement. It's always increment. Yes. Even the International Monetary Fund, I think 2014, they said something about how that real estate is part of the contributing factor for development in developing countries, and how that even real estate has helped to even fund even major projects in the world. Yes.
This brings me to the next question. Every business has its economic importance in growing their economy.
Definitely.
So, what is the importance of real estate in growing our economy?
First of all, apart from the fact that citizens you invest and you make profits, because how the economy tends to be, let me say, the economy actually decides. The economy is a factor or a function of how well citizens are doing. So if you're making profit, that means you're doing well. Apart from that, real estate we actually employ labor, and employing labor is actually a way of boosting the economy. Because apart from we do real estate in development, real estate also entails the development and also the investment too. So most companies that do real estate companies, we do more of development, and development entails hiring workers, employees, construction, building houses, and those ones brings labor. So it increases the economy.
Reduce poverty rate and increase standard of living.
Thank you very much.
Quite detailed. Next question. How do I begin this real estate investment?
How do I begin?
You're meeting me for the first time, and
what will I say to you?
Yes. How do I begin? What do I need to do? How much money do I need to have? How do I begin this?
That's why I'm a consultant. Thank you. So, basically, first thing I tell people, as long as you receive income, you can start real estate investment. Because what you need to start is, apart from knowing, getting information about the assets you want to get, because in real estate you're buying assets. The properties, the lands are all assets because they bring money. The first thing is that if you have income, you can actually save away. But people, when I say save, I'll tell you, if you have income come like perhaps 50k per month, and you plan on buying properties, and you know that when you buy those properties, you're going to leave it to fall over time. Land banking, because a long-term investment. And when it's getting, you can sell it, you can resell, then you used to buy more properties. You can start to save. First of all, know the properties you want to buy first, knowledge of what you want to do, then start saving. If you don't have, because one thing, real estate is a bit capital intensive. Yes, but most times that's why we have mortgage plans. You can meet all those mortgage banks that give you loans for real estate, and you can get and use to invest. At least you strike a deal with them, and now you're paying and the rest. But most times you can, if you don't want to go through mortgage plans, because most people are afraid of loans. But you should not be afraid of loans. But although I know, because of what will I call it now? Because how you pay and over time, interest and the rest. So I will advise you get knowledge of what you are investing in. And if you come over to a company, we'll tell you we have cheap lands. We have lands for like a plot in Lagos, it's 50k. 850,000 a plot. Even in Edo State, I know of villages that you get land for 1 million for a plot, and in Lagos it's only 850k. So if you have a notion, if for now we're even doing a promo right now, so and we're giving lands at very giveaway prices right now. So if you want to start, first thing is that know what you're investing in. Go meet a real estate agency, let them advise you. We'll sit down to give our talk. This one is just kind of like a rush talk. Or we'll show you catalogs of properties available, and we have payment plans, of course. You don't necessarily have to buy that 850 now. You can pay the whole amount for that property in 3 months or 6 months. We have plans like that instrumentally in instruments. So basically, know what you're investing, then you save. Know what you're investing, get advice, then save and start your investment.
I think that answers the question properly, because I was beginning to think, how much do I need to get before starting? But from your explanation, I need to know about what I want to acquire, so I begin to save. So if I want to acquire a plot of land for 500,000, so it means I need that 500,000 to actually start that. Quite
Thank you.
quite interesting. Good one. Okay, now tell me, how lucrative or how profitable is this real estate business? Because a lot of people, trust me, are going into real estate. So how profitable is this business, and how do you stay afloat or successful with a lot of competitions, a lot of competitors, the increase in real estate investment? How do you cope in such business?
First of all, you asked
if it's profitable or
no.
lucrative.
I would say it's 200% profitable.
200.
If you know what you're doing. So I'm not saying 100%, I'm doing 200% profitable. Yes.
How is that?
If you are patient, you don't. Real estate is about patience. It's in the Bible talks about patience and seeds. How that seeds over time. You don't eat your seeds, you plant your seeds, you leave it over time. So real estate investments, when you start it, be patient, because land increase over time. There's a factor, time factor there. So that if you get the land for perhaps maybe around 500K and you leave it to follow for maybe in the next year, it's not becoming like 750. But you know what you're looking at, you want to get maybe like 2. You want to play Monopoly with that stuff. You want to get like 2 properties more. You leave it to follow maybe like 2 more years. Get a bit of amount, know the value, and then you can sell or you develop it or whatever. But the thing is about patience, and it's very profitable. 200% profitable, I'll tell you that.
So you need to be patient if you want to actually get the benefit of such people.
Yes, even most times I advise parents to actually get lands like that for their parents, for their children. Sorry. You can, if you want to invest in your child's life, as long maybe they are little now, you have to
get
property, just get documented in their name and leave it there to follow. Imagine getting a land in the year 2005 at Banana Island. When Banana was nothing, and right now to get the property in Banana Island is like billions, big, 100 of millions and the rest. Imagine getting as cheap as 500K in Banana.
So patient over the time.
And so one thing is that if you're patient, you see that time is not even a problem. You can be doing other things as long as you understand. You get more information, know what you're doing. You just let it fall over time.
Just have the right idea, get the knowledge, and know
and you can get these things through an agency. This is what we are here for. You can come for meetings, who advise you. You don't rush into investment. I tell people, you don't rush into investment, because if you rush into investment, you rush out crying.
Okay, before you answer the other parts, how do you stay afloat with all the increase of such business competition and all that? Let me ask this one: does location really determine the worth or profitability of real estate? Because when you started initially, you said location is key and certification. So if you've been mentioning Lekki and Lagos and all that, what if I get a land at maybe Ajegule in a very local area in Lagos, or like local villages? Does it really determine the profitability of such business, your location?
Even when I'm talking about location, even you can get some lands in Lekki right now that will not be profitable for you in less 1 year. The price may remain the same. Most times when I talk about location, I'm talking about the prospect, and that the government what is the government going to do about that place? Is there prospect? Is there kind of like a plan for development there? Because development brings about increments in very short period of time. Most times now we just increase normally over time, even though it's that in a place that's not developing. But if you want quick and on time results, look for places that government are doing something
They
about
have
it.
prospect plans,
Like plans already for
development,
places like
yeah.
Ibejuleki right now that has the government Dangote refinery right now.
Yes.
And other malls and other big stuff coming in. So
Well, quite interesting. We'll go on a short break, and Mr. Jesse is still here with us. He is a real estate consultant. We're coming back shortly, and discussion continues. Welcome back from that short break, and I know you're already enjoying yourself listening to this program. Real estate investment, everything you need to know about real estate. And Mr. JC is still with us, a real estate consultant.
thank you.
It's been wonderful.
Good to.
Yeah. So now, a lot of people talk about shares.
Okay.
Is it also applicable to real estate? Do I need to get a share uh, in a growing real estate investment instead of purchasing a land and reselling?
Yeah, it's possible. Yes,
What is the risk, or does real estate determine your shares does the growth or turnover in real estate investment determine the growth of your share? If I actually decide not to buy lands or properties and resell, I just look for a real estate company and probably get a share in that company.
Okay. I'll put it this way. Now, you can get shares in real estate, of course. Now, there's this provision for how that you can get shares on how the company, the sector, real estate sector is doing in the economy. And the funny thing is just like mutual funds, getting over time as the sector, the real estate sector is doing well. But the one thing about the profit you gain from shares, if you're buying, like we have REITs in Nigeria, there are brokers that actually help people to get those shares. Now, if the market cap for that year for the real estate sector is doing okay, you get good profit on your shares.
Okay.
But if it's not doing very much okay, you might not get really good profit. But I advise people to actually go for true investment properties itself, and yes, better off and like that.
Okay, now, what is the purpose of real estate agencies? Is there really need for
Agencies?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the first thing I told you before, I said if you want to invest, you have to get knowledge first of what you're investing into. Knowledge into what you're doing. Actually, more this specific knowledge of what you're doing, so you don't make mistakes and don't come out without profits and the rest. So the purpose of agencies too, not only to actually get the documentations, sort out for good lands, but also to advise you, and they can help you sell too. You can actually purchase property for them and actually leave it for them to actually monitor, and they can sell for you over time if you want them to sell for you. That's the purpose of agencies too. They advise, then they give you good prospect, show you what to do, and they help you sell too. So
like the word patient. Okay, in business, I'm trying to channel it to. Can I get almost my return from investing in real estate, like in a very short while? Yeah,
depends on
patience, so you can get the good.
That's what I'm saying. Depends on the location.
So location is a major factor in real estate business.
And the kind of investment you're doing, is it residential? If you're doing land banking or land flipping, that's just getting land and leaving it to fall over time, then reselling it. Or you're buying land, developing, building residential buildings people can rent, or you're leasing a land to companies, or you're building commercial like malls and halls. So the thing is that depends on what you're investing and the developments occurring in the environment.
All right. If I happen to be your friend or your brother or like a family member, would you advise me to go into real estate investment, and why?
Okay. First of all, I will advise you to go. That's what I do. My dad knows about it already, so I don't even tell him about it. He knows it. My brothers too. They know what I do, and so they are actually venturing. My younger brother is a consultant too, and also, if you're my friend, I'll say do it, because don't wait to have all the millions. That's why we need agents. That's why you need agencies. We can help you create a plan for payment of land and the rest. Do it because, first of all, not only is it profitable, 200% profitable, it's actually zero risk. It's actually zero risk investment. So I advise you to do it as much as possible. Make sure that it's one of the things you are putting in your mind to do at the end of the day. Because one thing is that lands will always increase over time, and at least the Bible talks about how that a good man keepeth riches for his what? His children and his children. So if you're a good man, if you're a wise man, you should venture into something that can actually create wealth for your children generations.
Yeah, like one of my friends told me, he said, the best thing you can do for your generation is to invest or own a business. You cannot actually transfer your work.
Of course.
To
You
your
can't transfer
children.
your work.
You
Of
can't
course.
transfer
Your schooling, you can't
certificate.
your education, you can't transfer it.
So the
But
best
it's
thing you can do for your
the
children
business
is,
and real estate is a business that you
and
can
you are
actually-
telling me to go into real
Real
estate
estate
for my
actually.
children, get
properties.
attached to
Oh,
them.
God, yes. Yes, in their names.
Real estate, quite a lucrative business. Quite lucrative business.
Mm.
All right. Do I really on question before we actually call it a wrap?
Okay.
Do I really need to go to school to
Ah,
become a real estate consultant or real estate investor? Do I really need to go to school?
you don't necessarily need to go to school to be
Okay,
not
very
necessarily.
interesting. I'm actually asking because of most of our youths
Yeah, of
and
course.
parents who feels because they didn't go to school, they cannot do business. And listening to you right away, they want to go into such investment. So that's what I'm asking.
You don't really need to go to school.
All right, thank you so
Thank
much
you very
for coming to share
Thank
with
you very
us
much.
your
Thank you very much.
plethora of experience in
Thank
real
you.
estate.
Thank you.
I'm very impressed, and I
Thank you.
tell you, I think I really want to go into such business.
That's a good thing.
So, a word of advice for our viewers, youths, business owners, and people who actually listen to you and want to start real estate investment. What's your word for that?
The first thing I'll say is get knowledge and know that as long as you invest in real estate, you are sure to be rich. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. JC.
Thank you very much.
It's been a wonderful time having you in the
Thank you
studio.
very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, this is how far we can go today on Business Talk Show. All thanks to production team, Mr. Nicholas Akosile. You see Mr. Jerry, Mr. Gabriel, and Mr. Peter. Thanks for making this production a success. And in case you are still thinking and wondering what real estate is all about, Mr. Jace has told us everything we need to know, and it is a very lucrative business with 0% risks. This is Business Talk Show, and I still remain your host, Igbefwe John, and this is bye for today. Till we meet again, same time, same station, Business Talk Show.
Thank you.